They grabbed frag grenades, flashbangs, suited up in body armor, and piled in Alex Blum's vehicle. The four men arrived at Bank of America branch in South Tacoma at 5:14 p.m.
Alright y'all, welcome back to Coming Arms channel. Alright, so today we are not checking out something that was recommended to me, but something that I heard about anecdotally. So I was driving around and I saw this symbol on the back of somebody's motorcycle helmet. And I saw that it looked really similar to the 2nd Battalion 75th Ranger Regiment symbol. And my buddy who actually served in the regiment told me that that's a symbol for one of the Ranger companies. And it has a very interesting backstory that we're going to be going over today. So this is a video from Popomedic that's titled Army Ranger Robs a Bank in 2 minutes and 21 seconds. Now, this is going to be pretty cool. Thinking about a bank robbery, I mean, Army Rangers are trained to do raids. A bank robbery is kind of a raid with a few other elements. So if you need someone to rob a bank, I think an Army Ranger is probably a good person to go to for some sort of advice with that. So I'm not really too surprised that they were successful. So it should be a good video. Now, I will say I have COVID right now. I don't know if you can tell if my voice sounds different or what have you. But yeah, I'm not really too sick, which is nice. So I'm still going to be recording some videos. But if at any point I start coughing or what have you, that's what's going on. But yeah, let's check out this video.
Monday, August 7th, 2006, 5:15 p.m. The most sophisticated bank robbery in Washington state history. A four-man team led by two special operators.
I didn't know this one was in Washington state too. The last video we checked out with the Army Rangers was in Washington state as well. I mean, it makes sense because I was driving around in Washington and I saw that symbol. So I'm guessing that company is underneath the 2nd Battalion 75th Ranger Regiment.
Raiders swept a Bank of America in Tacoma, Washington. One FBI agent
Tacoma.
will later describe the event as executed with elite military-style precision and planning. They carried enough weaponry, according to prosecutors, to create a bloodbath in the streets of Tacoma.
Jeez. All right. He always chooses some really solid music. Cool clips too. He's got M67s? Jeez. Okay, I didn't know he was like raiding it like that. I hope he didn't use any grenades. It's like a ranger montage. I like it. Very Stranger Things vibe right here. I guess that's probably the point.
Luke Elliott Summer was born on June 6, 1986 in Peachland, British Columbia. He later joined the Army on June 6, 2003. After completing one-station unit training, Summer attended and completed airborne school at Fort Benning before attending the infamous Ranger Indoctrination Program, now known as RASP. Summer was sent to the 2nd Battalion 75th Ranger Regiment.
There you go, okay.
Summer was at the unit for less than 3 weeks before he was shipped to Baghdad, Iraq, where he remained until September 2004.
Damn, okay. Getting right into it. As Rangers do, I guess.
After returning from Iraq, Summer conducted Ranger convalescent skill training, which includes hot wiring vehicles, operating heavy machines, and basic EMT courses.
That's sick.
After spending 6 months stateside, Summer was again deployed, but this time to Afghanistan. When Summer returned from Afghanistan in September 2005, he was sent to Ranger School, a 61-day leadership program where young soldiers are pushed to their absolute limits.
Damn, yeah, he's getting at it, huh?
Ranger, what is wrong with you?
Summer spent nearly 7 months completing the highly prestigious military leadership school, and although he restarted the school twice, Summer managed to complete the school on April 7th, 2006, earning his tab. While waiting for his next deployment, Summer and his Ranger buddies...
I don't know what it actually is with the... I should probably talk to my buddy about this, but I know you can't really get far, or you won't get far if you're not actually getting your Ranger tab. You can have the Ranger scroll, but especially for being like an NCO or what have you, you need to end up getting that tab at some point. But I'm not sure what they'll actually do if you don't get it. I mean, but you have to think, if you made it through RASP, you could probably make it through Ranger school unless there's just like a lot of really stupid stuff happening behind the scenes.
Barracks Building 3475, spun fantasies late into the night about applying their training to American civilian settings. Summer kept pushing these ideas further and further until the next thing anyone knew, he and a few other Rangers were pulling reconnaissance on the nearby Chips Casino.
Oh my
Summer began
gosh.
sharing this fantasy with friends back in Canada, such as 20-year-old Tigra Robertson, a member of the Canadian Military Reserves, and 18-year-old Nathan Dunmall, a civilian. Summer spelled out the plan to Robertson via text message. In a July 30th, 2006 exchange, Summer wrote, "We're going to hit this casino, and we have a solid plan. We have a driver, 2 Rangers, and you 2. So I hope you're ready to fucking rock and roll." Robertson replied,
Did the wrong "you're." Just gonna go ahead and throw that out there.
"Fuck yeah." Summer replied, "Chance it might go North Hollywood, so I really hope you're in the mood."
Come on, man.
On
You
August
gotta
3rd,
work on that grammar
2006,
first.
Alex Blum drove Summer to the Bank of America in Tacoma, Washington, for what the 2 Rangers referred to as close tactical recon. Summer scoped his target where he had a checking account. He surveyed the room, and then he spotted it, a 2-foot space between the top of the bandit barrier and the ceiling. Back at the barracks, he mapped out distances to and from the bank using Google Earth, and spent hours studying news articles about robberies, learning from the mistakes of less careful robbers. By Sunday, August 6th, Robertson and Dunmall had arrived by bus from Canada.
Geez, the things you can do with like just the internet nowadays. I gotta say, and I've used the internet for a lot of planning myself. I'm sure it's not the most secure thing, but depending on what you're doing, it is super, super helpful.
Summer led them along with Ranger Chad Palmer to Noble Hill, the 400-foot mountain that rises behind the Ranger barracks. He laid out sandbags and stuck sticks into the dirt to mark the bank's floor plan and the building's exact distance from the alley where Blum, who'd agreed to be the driver, would park his car. Then the 4 men ran the distance in full gear, armor, and weapons. They rehearsed every step over and over again. Who would stand where and for how long?
It's just like a
Summer's
raid,
squad was ready for the mission. On the early evening of August 7th, Robertson handed out the weapons. The 2 AK-47s for Palmer and Dunmall, a 9mm Glock pistol with a red dot for Summer, and a spring-filled 9mm for himself. Dunmall tossed a bag with several hundred rounds of ammunition over his shoulder. They grabbed frag grenades, flashbangs, suited up in body.
Okay, I've heard of people taking some stuff that they probably shouldn't be taking from the military, but like M67s, like actual frag grenades, is pretty insane. And I don't know if they have like actual military AKs. That is also kind of a weird choice to use for a sort of like CQB environment like this. But I guess, hey, it's going to look a lot scarier if you're using an AK. So maybe that'll help for the bank robbery.
Body armor and piled in Alex Blum's vehicle. With Alex Blum behind the wheel, the 4 men arrived at Bank of America branch in South Tacoma at 5:14 p.m.
5:14. I wonder if that Bank of America is still there. It's like famous for getting robbed or something, probably.
They entered the bank at 5:15 and the robbery began.
5:15, okay.
Palmer and Dunmall with automatic weapons covered the bank's entrance.
Yeah, they
while
are
the other 2
automatic,
with handguns moved swiftly to confront the tellers. As the robbery commenced, the countdown began. One of the door guards began to call out the elapsed time like something straight out of a fucking movie. Summer vaulted over the teller counter and barged behind the bandit barrier into the cages, ordering the tellers to only hand over stacks of bandit 20s, 50s, and $100 bills, and gave further orders not to include any bait money with pre-recorded serial numbers or die packs. His assistant collected the money from the teller station and took $20,000 from a money cart inside the vault.
Nice.
At the 2-minute mark, the timekeeper shouted, "Let's go." The 4 men exited the bank with $54,000.
Not bad for 2 minutes.
They slipped through the back door, successfully robbing the bank in just 2 minutes and 21 seconds. But things almost took a major shit. As the men ran down a side street into an alley, the getaway car wasn't there. The driver had panicked and started driving back to the base. He realized he was going the opposite direction of the base and made a U-turn. With rifles and duffel bags in hand, the men saw him make the U-turn and assumed he must have been driving down the street to turn around to catch up to his fellow bank robbers. The 3 men ran to the car and made their getaway. The driver, Alex Blum, played it off like he was in fact making a U-turn and not fleeing the crime scene. Blum dropped Palmer, Robertson, and Dunmall off at a movie theater where they laid low in a darkened theater, eating popcorn, watching a horror movie.
That's
Much tactics, smart. Many operator. Blum and Summer then headed back to the base, ditched their gear in Summer's room. Blum flew home to Denver the next morning.
Okay. Yeah, so again, comparing a raid to a bank robbery, of course, there's going to be some nuances. And these guys need an alibi for what they did, so they're going to a movie theater. Now, I'm sure compared to what he did, in Iraq and Afghanistan, that wasn't that stressful, but it's definitely a different kind of stress, and I couldn't imagine he was enjoying that movie too much.
Summer, Robertson, and Dunmall busted back to Canada. FBI Special Agent Monte Shade arrived at 5813 South Tacoma Way a little after 5:30 p.m., only 15 minutes after the robbery occurred. The parking lot was already full of Tacoma's White Crown Victoria police cars. In his 8 years with the FBI's Pierce County Violent Crimes Task Force, Shade had investigated nearly 400 bank robberies. Most were easy to solve, the majority being crackheads trying to get their fix and get some crack. Right away, Shade knew this one was different.
You have to think, I mean, with his experience, especially in that area, Pierce County, that's where the base is, in Pierce County. So this guy has probably seen some pretty crazy crimes just related to people who have that military experience. So for him to get impressed by what they did goes to show how well they actually planned it.
Young men, maybe aged 19 to 21, 2 with rifles, 2 with pistols. Then Shade, who'd also spent 8 years on a SWAT team, reviewed the security footage and noticed these guys were definitely using close quarter battle tactics.
Okay.
He noticed how the 2 men holding the door did a great job in their sector, which is their AOR, or Area of Responsibility. Special Agent Shade also took note of how one robber went flying onto the counter, grabbing the top of the 8-foot bandit barrier with one hand and vaulting himself over to the other side.
Nice.
A move that requires some form of athleticism. At the bank, a witness came forward who took down the license plate of the vehicle. These idiots left the front license plate on Blum's vehicle. After running the plate, the RO came back to a Norm and Alex Blum of Greenwood Village in Denver. Reviewing the close quarter battle tactics on the security video, Special Agent Shade suspected a military connection. He drove to Fort Lewis the next day and asked the Provost Marshal if a Norm or Alex Blum was a soldier there. The inquiry brought him to the barracks building 3475. Most of the Rangers had cleared out for a 2-week leave, but Shade pressed a few stragglers who admitted seeing Blum, Palmer, and Summer with a large amount of cash the night before. One by one, the robbers got picked up by authorities. The FBI nabbed Alex Blum in Denver, Chad Palmer in full dress.
I gotta say, it's pretty, I mean, it didn't seem that impressive for the FBI, considering that's like a pretty sloppy thing for them to forget and mess up. Makes it a pretty easy thing to follow up on as far as a lead, but it is pretty impressive. I wonder how quick they actually figured all this out and were able to just go straight to his barracks room.
Uniform, as him and his family were leaving their house in Chesapeake for family pictures when a SWAT team swarmed in. Nathan Dunmall was arrested in British Columbia, Robertson surrendered at the Canadian-American border, and as for Summer in Peachland, he was quoted as saying, "My fucking dad turned me in." On December 15th, 2008, Summer was sentenced to 24 years in prison and 5 years of supervised release for conspiracy to commit armed bank robbery, brandishing a firearm during and in relation to a violent crime,
24
and
years?
possession of an unregistered destructive device, aka a fucking grenade.
Okay.
Summer was
that grenade is gonna get you in a lot of trouble in and of itself.
Also sentenced to an additional 20 years in prison on March 8th, 2010 for assaulting a co-defendant and plotting to kill a federal prosecutor. All of the other defendants in the case entered guilty pleas in 2006. Chad Palmer was sentenced to 11 years in prison. Tigra Robertson was sentenced to 12.5 years in prison. Alex Blum was sentenced on March 6, 2009 for a total of 16 months after he Tekashi 6'9"'d everyone else involved. Nathan Dunmall was sentenced to 10 years in prison. Scott Byrne, who assisted in planning the heist, was sentenced to 8 months in prison. Thank fucking God the situation didn't turn into a firefight with law enforcement. Summer claims he did the robbery to bring attention to war crimes and other allegations involving Task Force 626. But it was later revealed that the money stolen was intended to create a motorcycle gang that would rival the motorcycle gangs controlling crime in fucking Canada. It's fucking stupid. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you like my historical crime breakdowns, be sure to check out my Norco shootout. I also have my Dorner video, and there's a lot more of these to come. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss them. And also so we can get to 100K. We're almost there.
Oh yeah, he's way past that.
Thanks for watching.
Well deserved. Oh my gosh. Dude, so I'm definitely checking out his Rooftop Koreans video next. And then also like the Hollywood shootout. I definitely want to check those videos out from him. I mean, we can definitely see why these guys were successful with the amount of planning they were doing. I know when we did the reactions to the SAS doing the Iranian embassy siege in 1980, their planning was was not necessarily on this sort of scale. It was a little bit more upscaled because they, obviously have the resources and the support for that. But these guys were going through some pretty similar planning as far as getting the right dimensions, understanding the layout, doing the reconnaissance as much as possible. It's pretty impressive. So, of course, when you have that much planning going into it, you can definitely take that timeline and shrink it a bit. But yeah, the 2-minute thing, I don't know if that's something that was like an SOP or if that's something that they just decided on, or it's probably something that they were able to ascertain during their research as far as, okay, we probably have about 2 minutes to get in and get out without, getting stopped or what have you. So pretty freaking impressive stuff. And again, this video was really solid. I will put the original video in the description so you guys can go and check it out. But yeah, I want to go and check out some more of his videos right now. I'm going to watch some of them, but I definitely want to react to a couple more, like that Rooftop Koreans one. But yeah, stay tuned for those. Again, Popomedic, if you're watching this, thank you for letting me react to your videos and not copyright claiming it. It's pretty dope. You got some cool stuff. Hopefully you all enjoyed it. Thank you for watching. A very cool story. And again, it's kind of cool how I sort of heard about this anecdotally. And it's even cooler when you hear about something and you go on YouTube and there's a full solid video about it. That's pretty freaking cool. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. That is it for this video. I will see y'all in the next one.